Hello again, everyone. This is Joe Henches with Beyond the Chart, and this is technical analysis of the stock market today. Today is Wednesday, August 20th, 2014. We're going to take a look at the market action here over the last couple of days, which have been pretty strong. Look at the indicators, then look at the BRICS countries that we usually do on Wednesday, and then look at an update on 4 trade ideas. Okay, so the Dow was up almost 60 points today. Continuation move here of this 9 days in a row that we've had in this move. It hasn't been up every day, but it's pretty strong 9-day move here coming off this bottom on August 7th. It's interesting when we look at Russia that Russia bottomed on the exact same day, August 7th. So it seems to be kind of tied to the whole Ukraine situation. And the one thing I did notice today when I looked at the New York diary of the stocks kind of thing, the advanced declines were almost dead even. So even though the market was up 60 points, the breadth was not there. I mean, it was like dead even. And on the NASDAQ, there were more declines than advances. So let's take a look at the indicators real quick. Not a whole lot new. Looks like the DI plus is trying to cross DI minus in here. First day, S&P 500, very much stronger move all the way up here, third highest close of all time. And we didn't go to a new all-time high intraday. That is 1991.39. We did not get there. Came close, got within 3 points. So we'll see whether or not we can continue to push here. I mean, we've had a heck of a push. We're at the top of the Keltner channel. RSI is closing in on 70. That's not overbought. DI plus is over DI minus. Right now, it's acting strong, but it's come a pretty good distance here too in the last almost 2 weeks. Now, the NASDAQ is up against this first number that I talked about, 45.35. Today, intraday high, 45.33. So we're right in that neighborhood. So we could, I wouldn't be surprised to see a top is what I'm saying here. And the next threshold, if it does push through it, would be 46.65. So we could be right at the top on the NASDAQ. Let's look at the indicators. We're not getting any divergence in here. It broke this nice, trend line here on the RSI. DI plus is above DI minus, pretty solid. Demand index is up here. So it's not showing anything other than the fact that it's had a pretty good little move, and it may just pause and then bounce right back up through it. So right now it looks like everything wants to fire higher. And the New York composite, same thing. Again, it could be running in more of overhead looking type stuff here on the New York composite, but it sure didn't seem to stop it here. So we could be on to something, much higher. I don't know what to read into that. Sometimes you look at these little formations on the RSI and you start to think, but you can't make too much out of a 1 day how something's looking. Russell 2000, not nearly as strong as we've talked about. It's still acting. I mean, look at DI minus is still in control. The selling side is still in control. This looks like it's running in yesterday into resistance at this previous top here at 1160. I'm calling it 1164, and the high yesterday was 1164.06. So we'll have to see whether or not it can push through that. And I think that's it for the indices. Short-term trading index is the 10 days diving down here. We had a pretty low reading, 0.49. Hadn't noticed that reading. I was looking at the blue line. That's a pretty low reading. We haven't had too many of those. So we could be drawing this blue line down into overbought here, the extreme, what I'm talking about, real bullish, which would be a sell signal kind of thing. So we have to watch that. That could happen fairly quickly. And the VIX has pulled back pretty sharply all the way back down to 1178. Nothing else I'm seeing in terms of on the indicators, related to it. High-low index pulled back down today, but still, there were 133 more new highs than new lows. One thing I am looking at, you see how I have these circles for M-tops? These little M-tops like this on indicators, and you see that on the RSI sometimes too, and W bottoms. That's a W, there's a W. This is a distorted W. But you look for here's a W, okay? So, this is what I'll be watching for. Let me get rid of that for now. So, do we get another move up here and then a move down and create a little M top in here? That will be on my radar. Okay, so let's take a look at the BRIC countries. Let's look at Brazil. Brazil, look at last week. Last week of trading continues to push, rally. So, they don't want to miss out on the party either. Russia, I talked about that. Russia bottomed, and same day we bottomed, August 7th. And look at this. I mean, just straight up every day. I mean, they haven't even had a pullback. I mean, every day the low was higher than the previous day low. Just kept pushing higher. Now it's run into 55 in the 233 days, so it's running into these averages in here. I put more weight, to be honest with you. I mean, some people will say, well, you buy or sell at the 50 and the 200 and all of that. I put more weight on price action, looking for resistance and support on price action. I use the moving averages to kind of guide me as to where I'm at in terms of short-term, intermediate, long-term trends. And sometimes, support does come right in or resistance come right in there. But I'm more looking like, if I had to guess, I would sit here and, let me blow it up a little bit. Let me do this. And I don't spend a ton of time in here because this is Russia index, which, we're not trading, but it does impact, it is related to what we got going on. I would look at the bottom of this low in here and say, okay, that is more something I would focus on in terms of being potential resistance that this will run into. Okay, India. There we go. India's continuing to push higher, but it's kind of a sluggish. We're getting this overlapping, and given that we're in the fifth wave here, this could be some kind of ending diagonal. I'm not totally clear on it. Getting some divergence here on the RSI and on DI+, not on the demand index. So 2 out of 3 we're getting divergence. So, and it is in this, fifth wave, so it could be stalling out, getting ready to correct a little bit. And the next one is China, I believe, isn't it? Yes, Shanghai Composite. Okay, this has had, the continuing push over the last week. So when everybody was looking, is it going to collapse? No, it hasn't. It's continued to rally up here. Now, I've still got this dotted line where I had coming off this big symmetrical triangle as a potential targeted move, but we are running into divergence on all 3 indicators. So this could be on its last legs in here. Do I have volume on this? Yeah, we got volume. Volume's flat. It's not dying off, and it's well above 50-day moving average of volume. So the volume has been really strong in here. I don't know. If I had to guess, I think we're probably getting close to the end of this move, and then the real question is how much of a little correction do we get, because it looks, like a nice little breakout move. And the last one we're going to take a look at is South Africa, which is just correcting sideways to me. It didn't sell off real big in here down to, again, July or August 8th was the bottom. And it just rallied up. It's gone sideways. So this almost looks like a sideways move since the beginning of July. So that's it for the BRIC countries. All right, indicators. So let's take a look at the first of all, we'll take a look at 3 trade ideas that we had action on yesterday. Okay, Apple, my initial target, the target I had on this, it wasn't initial because Yeah, I knew we had a ending diagonal here, and I was targeting the final move, and it was just an estimate on my point that it was going to get to 101. And actually, I thought it might get a little bit higher, but I was trying to be conservative. But given that we're up here, in space that we hadn't been in a long, long time, other than the prior high, I can't remember where and when it was, 2 years ago or a year and a half ago. I was hesitating to push it. So yesterday when we got up and got to high 100.68, I'm like, okay, it's time to look at getting out of these here near the end of the day. So that's what I did. And we had a real nice profit on, I think it was 50%. So that was good. And we were just in them for 5 days. So can't complain about that. And I am looking, just so on Apple real quick update, I think this is the 5th wave in here of this is a minute, minuet, sub-minuet. So a little bit of French terms. So this is the end of this wave and the end of the 3rd minute wave. And so this 3rd wave is stretching from back here. Okay, so here's minor waves 1, 2, 1, 2, and this 3rd wave stretches to here. So now, because this has been a pretty extended 3rd wave, I'm expecting a minor pullback, shallow pullback. And actually, I think it's going to pull back down into this range here. I'll have better estimates on that here in the future. But and then we're going to go for a wave 5 off of that. But that's what I'm looking for to happen next on Apple. So we could get a little choppiness on Apple. We'll have to watch and see. The next one is Kandi Technologies we got into yesterday. With calls back in here, and it's broken out nicely, breaking this trend line here, which could easily be a cup and handle, small cup and handle move here. And I'm watching for this to continue moving up higher. Let's take a look at the volume is nice. It's above the 50-day moving average in volume. So it's nice to see that. You hate to see a big bullish move and no volume behind it. Breaking out on the RSI, you actually got that indication, 3 days ago. And DI plus is above DI minus, and the demand index is up nicely. Okay, the next one we're looking at is Rax. Rax is one that Raxspace. We got in down here on this counter trend move. I'll thank Linda Ratchke for this setup, which she had in her book, Short-Term Trading, back mid-90s, a book that she had. This is what she called Turtle Soup Plus One, okay? And so you get in here and you ride it up, and got out on half the position here yesterday, and now I'm riding it. The real question is, how far do I ride it? I think we could have a bigger bottom like I've talked about, so we'll just have to watch and see. It's a little distorted though, so I'm not sure I totally trust it. So I'm kind of looking in here, where could I get resistance? There was previous intraday right in here at 34, I don't know, what's the high? 3409, 3410, let's call it 3408. And then we get this little gap that will close at a low of 3445. So it's possible we could, come up in here and close this gap. We'll run into this trend line I've got sloping down. So that's another possibility, is that I could hit this trend line. So as we get up above 34, I'm going to be a little wary, and especially when we get outside the Keltner channel. I may be looking to exit because we've gotten a nice move out of it. We'll just have to watch and see. There's always, I could always run this too. Right now, I'm running this with a stop on the second half, and worst case break even on the second half of the options. That's the way I'm treating it. Okay, and last but not least is Keurig Green Mountain, which I'm going to nominate for my terrible play of the year trade. And I've talked about it for a number of reasons. I got stopped out here today, and I had put on the trade ideas that this is, it closed as a second higher close here above the 10. And I'm like, okay, you could try to sit around and pray and hope it turns around, but no, I'm done. I'm out of it. We lost 89% on the option trade, which is very frustrating because we got in over here. And as I mentioned before, we should have got in here. okay? And because we started breaking down below the 10, and I should have got in here, but we got in here 119.47. Well, we got out here 117.58. So on the stock price, we're actually lower, but the option, because I had a 105 strike price, shame on me for that far out of the money. And honestly, I think I talked about it when I did it, that it's a rare circumstance to go out of the money. I thought we were getting this big move down for this C wave. And the only thing about it is, again, when you get into corrective modes like this, they start to get funky on you. And so you just really don't know what it's going to do. And it can start to morph into something else, or this could turn around and break on down. Couple other things. The option price, I can't remember when the earnings came out. We got in here, then the earnings came out, and that's fine. The stock kept doing what I thought it was going to do. But because I had a way out of the money, all 100% time premium, and I call it time premium, but it's time premium and, you know, implied volatility, etc. They cut the time premium in half right after the earnings report. So it had been inflated because of anticipation of the earnings report, and that's fine. So shame on me that I didn't have a higher delta option in here, that there was more intrinsic value in the price of the option of at least 50%, if not, you know, 50 to 60. And so that's a lesson learned in here. I have no problem sitting through earnings reports with the trade if you think you've got the what's going on with the stock nailed. But I didn't have the right option, okay? And option strike price. Time frame was fine because it was September's. I wasn't playing August. I was playing September's. But they still sucked the time premium on me. Okay, so that's it on Keurig Green Mountain. We're out of it. Now, the good news is, now this was a July trade. I still count it as July because it originated in July. The good news is, again, the other thing that you think about in here is this is the same percentage of the overall equity allocation that I was using as every other trade. Okay, so it wasn't abnormally high. I wasn't sitting here trying to put 50% of my equity into one trade or something like that. Okay, so even though you lose, it doesn't impact you overall because you didn't sit there and try to, you know, hit a grand slam with it with the amount of money you put on it. And then the other thing is, and you know, drawing a blank here, but the other trade, X, United States Steel. I wanted to start to say Xerox, and I'm going, it's not Xerox, it's United States Steel. And I don't know why they have a ticker symbol X, but I need to look into that. But United States Steel trade is going to more than offset any loss that I got here. So matter of fact, I think part of it that I've already sold has. So anyway, Keurig Green Mountain, and my last thought on it, and then we'll go, is if this baby turns around and closes back below this 10, I'm going to look at getting back in again because we have the 21 below the 55, the 10 below the 21, and we've broken this trend line. So I'll be watching to see how this acts. Although I'm a little wary. I'm putting out there as something I'm going to think about, you know, and I'm not guaranteeing anything. I'm just saying I'm thinking about it. But it's just, you know, we'll see, because it's in this whole corrective mode. This could be morphing into doing something else. Well, who knows? All right, that's it for tonight. Enough on Keurig Green Mountain. So there are plenty of lessons learned to be learned on that option trade, and hopefully we won't have any more of those. All right. This has been Joe for Beyond the Chart. If you felt that this video was helpful, please share it on social media. And if you're not a subscriber, subscribe. Just click on the red box and you'll be able to download the PDF and put in your first name and email, and you'll be good to go. All right, we'll see you on, let's see, what's tomorrow. Today's Wednesday. I think I've got another update video out on 4 stocks, 3 or 4 stocks tomorrow. I think they're some of the Chinese stocks. And then on Friday also, I believe. And then we'll be back with a market update on Saturday morning. All right, thanks everyone. Have a great Thursday, Friday.